Aaron Chapa with the Living Well podcast here in studio. I'm going to kick this on the FM. It's going to be a great day. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. My name is Gardy, and I have Dr. Aaron Chapa with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center in studio. They're located in League City, Texas. Feel free to share this out. Let me know what you got going on today. Are you ready for Christmas? And how are you preparing just for this season with your mind, your body, your health, and everything else? Good morning, Dr. Chapa. How you doing?
Good morning, Gardy. I thought you were going to say, how are you preparing for the freeze? Suppose it's going to be a wild, freezing Christmas for us this year.
I'm preparing for it by just pretending it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's funny.
Just kidding.
Well, that is an approach for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely might be wise, however, to go wrap those pipes and get things in order just in case. Bring in those plants that you don't want to die. As a matter of fact, now that you mention it, I don't have all my plants in, so I got to go out and get some of those plants in. But yeah, man, I'm excited about the Christmas holidays. This is, again, one of my favorite times of year, and it is my favorite time of year. It's just, it is busy, and there's a lot going on, and I'll tell you, the stress curveballs keep coming, but at the end of the day, the joy of the Spirit, man, is still in me, and I'm able to navigate through all that stuff by God's graces and good mercies, so I'm just appreciative of that, so... How about you? You got your Christmas shopping done?
Yeah, for the most part. There's still some things. I mean, mainly my wife buying everything, for the kids. Or like, what do you think about this? Or sending me, hey, get this for the kids. Or she's like, oh, I got this, wrapping. She's an all-star when it comes to those things. Me, I'm just like, what do I do? Kind of sometimes freaking out. But just do what I'm instructed to do, and we turn out okay.
Well, that's always another model of the way things can seem to work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like is just a lot of hustle and bustle, especially, down to the wire here at this last week. And one of the things that people are not thinking about is what are they feeding their bodies? And, here we are. Our bodies seemingly still need fuel day in and day out. I was listening to a little, I don't know if it was a short or whatever on YouTube, but, Arnold Schwarzenegger was on there, and somebody was asking him about, working out. He's at, 70 plus years old, and he's still training every day. And the guy goes, well, why do you still do it? I mean, you've done all these great things, had an amazing career. I mean, what drives you to get back up and do it again? And he says, well, I mean, that's like asking me, just because I had breakfast 10 years ago, that I don't need breakfast this morning. And it's just something that I do. And, eating is something that we do. So it is an important facet of what makes us have longevity and gives us an opportunity to express vitality and get into the roots of how the system works so that we can serve, our body in a way that helps it detoxify or regenerate and age gracefully.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that clip.
You did?
Of that interview. He's like, I still drink water. I still sleep. I still eat food. It becomes so ingrained in who you are. It's important of taking a sip of water. Hey, I need to be active, so that way I can stay active.
And 100%. And I still have patients come in, and they're good patients, but they get into these little funks or ruts when they get their schedules off, where they're not consuming adequate water intake. I mean, what's the ideal amount? I've always taught 1 liter of water per 50 pounds of body weight. That's 32 ounces, and that works. That ratio can work for a sumo wrestler. It can work for a child. So everybody can find a fair amount of water intake based on their body weight, and we're just trying to get more water than people are consuming. I had somebody tell me, I know I don't drink water. I said, why? She goes, because I hate going to the bathroom. I'm like, well, interesting, but isn't that an interesting thought process? The things we do, the things we won't do because of the things we don't like to do. And, bodily functions are a natural process, involuntary, that should be happening day in and day out. And if you're able to offset some of that by making lifestyle choices. So you eat the wrong food, you get constipated, or you don't have a bowel movement before 10 a.m. I mean, I would say that some of the things that I talk to people about, they may be somewhat arbitrary in nature. So I'll just talk to some of these bodily functions, right? Because if we're putting in the right fuel, if we're washing the system with good, healthy, water intake, then the body will naturally perform better. I've talked about it before. The body's many cries for water. It's like 400 some odd pages of how does the body function without water. It doesn't. You get acid reflux, indigestion, skin rashes, allergies, depression, headaches, mood swings, hormonal dysregulation, GI disturbances. I mean, the list is endless. And the stories and the testimonies of people just drinking water coming back online. Well, if this is the season where you're hustling, bustling, running and gunning, and you don't have your normal scheduled routine, set an alarm on your phone for a reminder. Just like your Apple Watch or these fancy, cool watches that'll tell you, get up, move, get up and drink some water. Find ways to play water games with yourself so that you are indulging in getting the basics. We can't break the basics of health and wellness. Just like, Arnold said, if I ate breakfast 10 years ago, I still would theoretically need to eat breakfast today and drink the water and get the sleep and get the exercise. It's important. So I would say that, typically when I take supplements, my first, when I eat and take my supplements, my next urine is going to be a little bit stronger in smell, a little bit stronger in color. But then it'll be a little bit less the next time. Then it'll be meal time, and then supplement time, and it'll happen again. So it's okay because some of the B vitamins that we do excrete out, they change our urine, a different color, but not every time. And then when you have a bowel movement, you should have a bowel movement before 10 a.m. in the morning. I mean, really, you should have one within 20 minutes of waking up, but at least before 10 a.m., or I will call you late for a very important date. What's the old saying? No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late. And so, so I kind of have built into these arbitrary bodily function times for people to recognize that if they're not, having a bowel movement first thing in the morning, and by 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they still haven't had one. I mean, it's like carrying around extra burdens through the body. So it's like, would you ever, just for fun, want to carry around a 24 kilogram or 55 some odd pound kettlebell everywhere you went? You go to the bathroom, take it with you. You just ran off into the another room and you came back. What if you had to tote that sucker with you? Right?
Yeah.
It would get very cumbersome, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what not getting your bodily functions in a good working sequence and order. And people go, well, I mean, it's okay if I don't, if I go at 5, as long as I go, right? And no, like there's a time frame for which food should move and navigate through our body chemistry, and our digestive system, our colon specifically, is most active between 5 and 7 in the morning. Why? Because the liver did all this great work because it was most active between 1 and 3 in the morning, and we want to see those toxins, all that sediment and inorganic matter get pushed out that your body doesn't need, so that you're ready to tackle today. And so there's just so many little things that we need to be appreciating about the involuntary nature of our body, but recognizing that if those involuntary functions aren't happening in a timely manner, that we're cognizantly paying attention to them. Like we are intentionally evaluating, I didn't have a bowel movement today. Or I love asking, people questions, whether they're teenagers, middle-aged, doesn't matter. They go, I think, I'm pretty sure that everything's running like it's supposed to. And they're not sure. And we need to be sure. That's one of the things that I make sure that I teach all my patients to be evaluating and making sure that they're fawn-colored fluffy floaters that are foot long, healthy and happy, woohoo, right? Or that they're doing the the necessary food intake through the day. I mean, there's a lot of confusion right now on the whole intermittent fasting business, and if that's the right methodology for a case. Well, and it might be, but it might not be either. There's definitely a time and place to use that as a tool in the dietary tool bag, as opposed to just, this is something I'm going to do because it's convenient. So yes, if you're in a convenient season of life where you need easy, that is a great tool. Intermittent fasting. In this 8-hour window, you're going to eat. But what if you don't eat enough in that 8-hour window? I mean, you need 1,800 calories, but you're only getting 1,200. I mean, your body's going to waste away, degenerate, and you're not going to have the energy and bandwidth to process and move through the day like you want to, right? So we've got to we have to take a step back, I think, and even during the holidays, whenever we are giving ourselves plenty of excuses and there's plenty of opportunities to indulge in things that we wouldn't otherwise indulge in so readily, correct?
Yes. Hey, here's a question that came in. This was from Sully on, and I had this same thing happen to me last night. I asked my wife, I was like, hey, do we have any cookies? We didn't have any cookies, but she said,
Good for y'all.
I read somewhere that if you get sweet cravings, you have parasites.
So it could be parasites. That is an absolute great question, Leon. And parasites can be a driving factor for a lot of things: nightmares, migraines, sinus congestion, definitely cravings. I don't know that just because at nighttime, it very well could, because the stress of the holidays is so high that when you're coming down in the evening, getting ready for that unwind, your adrenal bandwidth is so narrow that it isn't managing your blood sugar correctly, and that'll create cravings. So one of the things that we'll recommend people do is take some of our Greens 8000 mocha or the Green 8000 chocolate and mix it with some coconut oil and make like a little pudding, a healthy pudding, and that is an easy treat. Or you can make chia seed pudding, something that's got a good healthy fat intake in it, that's got a slight sweet flavor that gives you that sweet kind of like feel, but then that fat is there to put like a digestive log on the fire. It has absolute zero impact on causing blood sugar to spike, but it will stabilize your sugar in your sugar and your energy reserves, and it will knock cravings out. And then of course, it on the sugar craving side, we'd also go, what if you're craving sugar at nighttime and it is because you're not eating enough protein during the day, or you missed some meals through the day because of this, that, and the other. So we got stress, missing meals. We got potentially, parasites could be a factor. I wouldn't want to say that just because a person is craving sweets that it's always parasites, but definitely it is a process of what are we going to we need to divulge deeper. So I'd be asking other questions. Do they wake up during the night tossing and turning? Are they hot during the night? Do they have nightmares? Do their ears itch? I mean, there's a lot of things that could be parasite related.
Those are other signs of that?
Yeah.
Where would the parasites be?
Oh, they're so every one of us that is listening to my voice now has parasites in their body, but you got to remember what the Bible talks about, the subduing of the creepy crawly thing. And so when we subdue the creepy crawly thing, the body has a opportunity to keep everybody in check. But because then we have to ask the question, what's the value? What is the purpose of a parasite? Dust to dust. I mean, they're going to cause you to decay and wither away one day. And but when they get out of hand in our body, they can be anywhere. I mean, people have them in their eyes, their sinuses, their brain, their lymph system, their lungs. I mean, it can be anywhere and everywhere. And so finding them is somewhat tricky, but that's why we feed the body, nourish the body, strengthen the body, and the nervous system, the immune system come together to create a strategic alliance to go out and find enemy invaders that might be lurking in the shadows, growing to an unhealthy level, and then the body will put them back into submission. And that's ultimately what we're after. So I always say that you want parasites to be in the gut because they're close to the exit channel. That means your body's already got them pushed out. But I remember old Dr. Bob Marshall would come along and he would say things like, It's not a matter of, if you have parasites, it's, when they manifest, so we all have them, and we want to feed them their last supper in the colon. I mean, we want to make sure that we give different antimicrobials like artemisinin or wormwood or black walnut hulls or fig. I mean, there's all kinds of cool, antiparasitics that we use at the office to help push these things through. And then we want to make sure that, depending on the severity of the case, it could be 3 months because of the egg-laying cycle, because you don't really kill parasites. Like I said, we all have them all the time. It's about, are they being subdued? Are they under control? And so theoretically, you know how we do a detox every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do a 21-day detox in January, another 21-day in June or July. Well, what if you incorporated a month-long parasite remedy? So we could take stuff like fig and the artemisinin and the wormwood and the black walnut hulls, mix that even with, you could just take that like 1 month at a time for 3 months, and you've just built yourself an anti-parasitic deworming protocol for the year. And it's not hard, right? You don't have to be aggressively changing your diet. You just got to be, again, kind of planning on how you're going to care for the inner workings of the system. And we need to, just as humans, appreciate that just like we rotate the tires and we change the air filters and do all the things for the house and the maintenance and upkeep of life, our body, although does quite a bit of it on its own, sure could benefit from our intentionality in getting well, staying well, and living well by choice. So what can you do to make today a better day? What can you do to make this month or next month or surviving the holidays so that you can thrive into 2023 as you drive into detox with us? That's our theme for the year of driving into detox. We're really excited about what detox is going to look like for people this year. And I believe on the 7th we have an information meeting where people can come out and learn more about what the detox is going to look like and how they can be more involved. And, so... Sorry, Solion. Yep. Sometimes it is a sensitive subject matter. It's funny. I'll be talking about this stuff and eating food while I'm talking to patients. They go, "How do you talk about this stuff?" And I'm like, "Oh, this stuff is like so ingrained in me. It's just like a part of it, right?" And but yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking to think that what if you've got creepy crawly things that are subduing you, stealing your energy, vitality, your vim, vigor, and vip, right? What if there are things in there that you can do to help get and stir the pot to get these things to purge out? That's what we're after. And at Living Well, that's what we do. We teach people to be aware and cognizant of these lifestyle practices and to bring these practices in so that they can live differently, live better, live fully functional, spirit, mind, and body, all the days of their life. It's great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Are there parasites that are good that our body needs?
Well, again, I think that's why they're there, right? They maintain a healthy
It's a balance.
Of pH on our skin, our intestinal tract, our mucous membranes, and so there's good yeast, bad yeast. There's good bacteria, bad bacteria. I would also venture to guess that parasites subdued in very minimal balance, as long as they're not ruling the roost, and you've got all these digestive problems and bloating problems and skin issues, and you're chronically ill and fatigued and worn out and beat up, that would be a sign of like, no, that's not what we're after. But yes, they have an ability to bind up inorganic matter. Because they eat everything. They're just garbage disposal, trash bags, and but we've got to make sure that those trash bags can be eliminated and processed out. And so, not that I would say that there's like good flora, bad flora, like good parasites, bad parasites. I would venture to guess that we feed parasites too much sugar, too much processed food. We have a stagnant, congested body. The lymph system's backed up because the liver's backed up because the bowels are backed up. That is a breeding ground for a cesspool of trouble, trouble, trouble. We do not need trouble in River City, especially these days. We got enough of challenges in the world of our own, that are coming at us that we can't control. And recognizing that these, issues inside the body oftentimes are to our control if we just choose wisely, if we choose different, if we recognize that what we were not genetically born with, things that we have developed in time, man, if we just start changing the approach, we can get things under control, and we don't have to suffer. We don't have to have headaches, live with high blood pressure, live with skin problems, live with sleep disturbances. I mean, it's fascinating what the body's willing to do and capable of when given the right environment to do so and to process correctly. And so, I don't know. I'm going to say, in an ideal world, we would definitely not have parasites. If we were living in the Garden of Eden, I don't think we would. But right now, on this side of the Great Cherubim, we are definitely we have an infestation, and we oftentimes have an overabundance population of these buggers. So we got to clean them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They can drive allergies, I mean, it can create sinus infections. And then, like I said, the itchy ears, nightmares, things like that. Sugar cravings is never really, going back to that, is never really my first thought. When somebody says they got sugar cravings, I think stress management, adrenal, endocrine axis. It's not managing the blood sugar pathways. And now, if we got into the process and started listening to the people, and we found that they were constipated and they're dehydrated and they're eating all kinds of garbage foods, then we probably know that the parasites are contributing to those problems.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still kind of a follow-up, on Solian's question.
You mentioned it's drive into detox. 2 questions. Whose idea was that, and what does it mean?
Well, last year we had a veggie theme, and then this year we just driving into the new year, and because people are driving in the fast lane, we need to bring that car in for a pit stop, and so Tiff and tonight Tiff and I thought it would be kind of just fun to theme it out and just to kind of make it have a different spin on detoxification, because detoxification is an interesting concept. It is really, thankfully for us, it's not necessarily new. We live in a very toxic, highly processed fast food nation. I mean, 100% guaranteed. There's plenty of documentaries on this stuff and mind-boggling statistics on how sugar impacts our body, how bad fats impact our body, how living the fast food nation lifestyle impacts our body. And so driving into detox is like, hey, you're bringing your car into a pit stop so that you can change the tires, rotate the tires. You can do the oil changes. You can do the necessary maintenance that is required for this vehicle, our bodies, to perform at the level we need it to. And when we start looking at, people, we realize that their vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acid base is off. And then we recognize that their stress is too high, and we've got to cool the engine. So we got to figure out how to make sure that they're getting into deep sleep states, and we got to make sure that their body's not using the wrong exit channel. And detoxification does all of those things. This ultimate detox experience, driving into detox in 2023, is 21 days, 3 months worth of work. 21 days, but 3 months worth of impact on your good health. That's what we're after and what we want to see for you, your family, your loved ones, because the better you feel, the better you perform. The better you perform, the more impact you make. And people want to feel better. And when they don't feel better, typically everybody in their social circles knows it. And so I think it's a wonderful way that I've been teaching for years and years and years. From the day I started practice, I've been longing to see groups of people go through detoxification programs and learn and grow. And this year we're really excited because we have the coaching program we're going to be offering. With our coaching program, there's a fee associated with it. It's $25 to do the classes, but we're going to give you $100 worth of in-body scans every week at the classes. You get personalized coaching, small groups, and we're just excited about bringing people into a deeper understanding of how their body functions and why it's important to take the bull by the horns when it comes to their good health. If they want their health to survive, to not just survive but thrive into 2023, 2026, 2030, on down the road, what do you want your life to look like after you've done built it? Detoxification, like eating breakfast, like exercise, like drinking water, like getting good sleep, must be a part of the conversation, must be a part of the application for which you are performing day in and day out so that you live better, be better, stay better all the days of your life. So we are just excited that, when it comes to what the Ultimate Detox program is we're just making it more fun, and we're doing an upgrade. We're trying to make the classes more in depth and more personalized for people to really embrace what it could be if they applied it to a lifestyle, not just an one-time experience. Because just because you didn't detox the last 10 years doesn't mean you shouldn't have been, and it doesn't mean that if you did it last year that you shouldn't do it this year. It's the oak tree conversation. What do you want your life to look like after you've built it? Are you doing the necessary health tricks to modify and to maximize cellular output? If the cells can produce more healthy energy, if they can detox better, if they can regenerate better, if they can communicate within the network of cellular function better, overall your biological imprint is much more beautiful and amazing and brilliant and powerful and impactful. So I can't say enough great things about driving a detox. So if you have questions, we will post some information here in the thread. I already see it posted. Great job, Jennifer. She is already all over that, and useful information for you guys.
How is this one going to be different? Is this the first 21-day Ultimate Detox that's taking place with the new facility?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're going to have different games to incorporate, healthy living practices. We got, like I said, the personalized coaching that'll happen in small groups this year, and the being able to monitor the in-bodies every week and see, what do we need to course correct. We might need to see, we need more calories for this one, or hey, let's go ahead and add back some protein for this one, because they've already hit their ideal weights. So we should be able to customize their detox experience to maximize its impact on their body. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking forward to just being able to use the new facility for this. I mean, this is, what we really wanted is a place, where we could have our office resources available to us while we're, teaching classes and teaching people that we want to be, number one health and wellness resource for them and their family, because people are going to continually deal with challenges. Kids are still developing. People get sick. People have health and diagnoses that pop up. What do they do when those things happen? And if they're reaching to medication, there's a better way. If they're reaching to, just going and getting on a Z-Pack or a steroid, let's have a conversation around that. Because what if your body would perform better if you allow it to do what it was designed to, as opposed to just dropping, bombs on the system or shutting off aspects of the system to express good health. And so the detox is just one of those steps that helps people realize they can feel better than they have been feeling. And I think that's one of the most interesting things that people notice on detox is their mental clarity, their overall output and resolve, their motivation for, can I just live this way? That's what they say, right? And then and that's that 3-month impact. The more we can get people into the mindset of a detox throughout the year, even if they did 21 days with us in the first part of the year, and then the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, they did 10 days. I mean, they're really setting what they call a precipice for mindset development around taking health into their own hands. They're choosing food wisely. They're learning when they should eat. They're starting to mind to muscle, mind to belly, that brain digestive network, that connection between the brain and the gut, to know when their body is performing at its best, it's because they're fueling it at its best, or they're supplementing well, their nutrient density is where it needs to be. And, I had a lady come in yesterday that her number one complaint and challenge in health was sleep. She's low stress, so typically you would think if somebody's waking up periodically throughout the night, staring at the ceiling, not necessarily needing to go to the bathroom or anything, but just staring at the ceiling, that's a stress issue. Well, her stress was low. She's retired. She feels good. Life's good. Nothing really to complain about. And so as we started listening to her story and evaluating, she said, I ran out of a few of my supplements, and I noticed these cramps came back in my legs. And, and I go, oh, well, which ones did you run out of? She's like, oh, I ran out of my calcium lactate. And I'm like, oh, well, when did you run out? When did the cramps come? And it was about the same time. And so she hasn't hit that metabolic reserve yet where she can go very long off of a particular nutrient, calcium and magnesium. And they're God's tranquilizers also. So they're going to help her body sleep deeper. So if she's getting Charlie horses and cramps and she's not able to sleep and she ran out of her mineral density, she's not putting into the system every day good nutrients for her body to perform at its best, she's going to have symptoms. And her symptom is I can't stay asleep. Or her symptom is I got Charlie horses or other circulatory problems. And so it's a very easy fix. Get back on the calcium magnesium until we get the reserves up high enough to where you can go a day, 2 or week or month without, the added benefit and, application of that mineral.
Here's a question that came in. This is from Andrea. Thank you for asking. Feel free to ask questions as well if you're watching this. She said, I've completed a few Whole30 challenges. How does your program compare, or how does it differ?
Yeah. I could have written the book on Whole30. Love the Whole30. It's an absolute wonderful book. You can use the exact diet in the Whole30. As you know, the Whole30 is very, wants you just to use food. That's the whole idea, Whole30, 30 days of clean food living. And so shakes are not allowed on the Whole30. And that is the number one difference. Supplements typically are not recommended on the Whole30. That is another major difference. I am of the opinion Whole30 is a diet. It's a cleanse. It is a diet reset, right? And it helps you, again, see the power of food. The detox program will show you also how powerful food is, because food is an absolute player in the game. On the Ultimate Detox program, as we're driving into detox this year, 2023, coming up, one of the biggest things different between what we do in the Whole30 is for the first 10 days, we're going to remove protein, nuts out of the diet. Now, we are going to let you have shakes during that time frame because they're hypoallergenic, very easy to digest proteins. They give you about the 95% profile of mother's milk, so you get plenty of that support. They're also blood sugar stabilizers and resetters in there, and anti-inflammatories, and the key ingredients help drive phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. So instead of a cleanse from a diet, any diet, so even my purple diet, my cleansing diet, is just it's a cleanse. And diets are cleansing to the body, because if you take sugar out of the diet, which is what the Whole30 does and what we do with our Ultimate Detox program, you're naturally going to see major benefit. If we take the caffeine out, you're going to see major benefit, not relying on stimulants for that 21 days. And so helping the body, again, get off the stimulants, off processed food, off sugar is the common theme of both diets. But where the Ultimate Detox program is different is that first 10 days, we're going to take you down a vegetable-only road, raw, cooked, steamed, grilled, kicked around on the ground. However you want to eat them, you're welcome to them. And then we add back proteins day 11 through 21. And during the full 21-day cycle, we're putting in certain nutrients that drive the body to purge unwanted inorganic compounds from the tissues, from the cells, from the organs, and from visceral fats that are, being used as storage facilities for metals and chemicals and processed inorganic compounds that your body cannot use. So we're going to use the detox piece, the supplements and the shakes, to push trash out of the body, to de-inflame the body, and to help, faster recover. And so that's why we feel like it's the ultimate detox, because we're not just cleansing, we're up in the ante a little bit and allowing the body a space, a sparring realm, if you will, to actually detox old foreign garbage that your body can't use, won't use, never will use, but it will create a burden over time to push that stuff out. So that's an excellent, wonderful question.
Awesome. That's a very good question. And Whole30, so that I'm not familiar with it. It's just eating, like you mentioned, just eating real food.
Yeah. So, the original Whole30 even took out potatoes. I do believe they have added potatoes back into the current setup and model, which I was really excited about because I do good on potatoes. They work for me. But the whole idea is to be, take the grains out, to take sugar out, take alcohol out, take anything that's a stimulant. dairy products they take out, wheat they take out, rice they take out, and which ultimately is good for a lot of people right out the gate. And so they think that is crazy hard. There's no way I could do that. And that's why it's called the Whole30 Challenge. And the Ultimate Detox Program is the same way. I mean, it's a 21-day challenge. But here's what I know. In the group setting that we offer, you're going to be seeing a very different experience because you've got a group of people that are going through the process together. So we have, group text and, online chat forums, and we've got cookbooks, and, we've got ways to help people navigate through it. And you got if you're a part of the coaching program that we offer for that, you will get that hand holding and support to just help you daisy chain through the experience, because it's not always easy. Even if you've done it before, it's still, you got to get your mindset ready to go tackle that stuff, right? And but both programs take out the foreign the stimulants that are foreign to our bodies and are over exhaustive to our body, massively inflammatory to our body for the duration of the program. And so you could take the Whole30 diet and just drop the supplements and shakes in on top of it, and that would work. And I've done that with people as well that were very like, I really want to do this, but I'm willing to do this.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take your shakes or eat your supplements or whatever. But again, diets cleanse, nutrients, herbs can create a space for detox. And I'm not talking like, drug detox from in a rehab facility. Although, people have sweat quite a bit, the toxins from their tissues. They've had some nightmares or, waking up at night to pee the first, 2 or 3 days, because we are turning on the system in a new way that it probably hasn't been turned on before. And, so I had a lady just the other day. She was not on a detox, but I put her on a little kidney protocol to balance out some of the acidity floating through her kidneys that were creating urinary tract symptoms, urinary tract infection-like symptoms. And so we pushed a little hard and aggressive, which I normally do. And but man, she dumped extra stuff, and so it wasn't just the initial trash that she was trying to get rid of. Her body goes, oh, and more, and more. And that and more was a little acidic, so it created some symptoms for her, and it robbed her a little bit of energy for a few days. So I had to adjust the protocol and slow it down, because you can go too fast. And that's why the other part of the Ultimate Detox experience is so great. If you're part of the coaching, one-on-one, or you're coming in the office regularly for care, we can tailor it very specifically. So like what we recommend in the class, we might make an alteration for you specifically based on your health history and your concerns. You may have specific, like, I don't know, that's like kind of scary. It's a lot, and there's a lot of pills, and I'm not sure. I've never done this before. Although we have taken many people from 0 to 60. You see how I did that, like with the drive.
The drive into detox, 60 miles an hour. Let's go.
That fully upgraded model that will help the system move forward in a very powerful way by getting you through that first 4 or 5 days, into that second 7 days, into the finishing, run straight away down the line to 21 days. Man, you just feel so good after that initial 3 or 4 days where your body's trying to figure out what you just did to it, right?
Yeah.
You took my food calories down. You took all these stimulants that I love so much that I've been indulging all through December and Thanksgiving and November time frame, and now all of a sudden I'm on this restrictive diet, and it is restrictive, but it's not. You can have as many calories of vegetables, soups, and day 11 through 21 proteins as you'd like. But again, talk to us. Come to the class and learn about what we're actually doing. We can modify things to make it work. Because you got to remember, if I allowed you to have protein the full 21 days, and if you're a kid that goes through the program, you would totally be allowed to have protein the full 21 days. But even if you're an adult and you wanted to have protein every day from animal sources, we would allow that, but we'd make sure that we tailor your program to still get the most out of your detox experience. So everything is manipulatable, especially whenever it's under one-on-one coaching and guidance and stuff like that. So that's just another really kind of perk to doing a program with us as opposed to on your own.
Yeah, I've seen you do that alterations before. There was a meeting, one of the meetings, and someone was nursing, and they were asking and said, okay, here's what we're going to do for you. I know for me, it was like, oh, I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to lose any strength. Okay, here's what we're going to do for you. I feel this way. Okay, let's alter it a little bit so that way you can still participate and get all the benefits.
That's right, because you still are accumulating waste and toxins through the year, and we want to give everybody's body an opportunity to get rid of those toxins.
Here's another question that came in. It's from Andrea as well. She said, removing protein is what worries me. I attempted to be a vegan for a year, and it didn't go too well. I was so weak and lost far too much weight.
Yep, and look, that's a year of you being a vegan, right? This is 21 days. Very different animal. And definitely, I mean, there's stories that we'd love to hear from you on your experience. I'm certain that you learned a ton on a year of that lifestyle, right? And so 21 days, you will lose a little weight, but you're not going to waste away. I mean, your body doesn't change that fast. And frankly, when you take the burden off, it's like pruning a bush. When you prune it, and it looks a little, even if you accidentally pruned it a little too much and it was a little bare, when you start, implementing the protein back in, which, by the way, just for clarification, I mean, we're adding protein the whole time through the shakes. It's not that you're not getting protein and amino acids. You're just getting a plant-sourced protein for the first 10 days while you're vegetarian, and then you put the plant-sourced protein plus the animal protein back in day 11. So really, it's 10 days that you're a vegan, vegetarian, living. And again, nothing bad will happen during that time. But again, if that is a concern, and it is a major concern for you, we can modify it. And that's easy. Because what I was about to say is, if I allow you to eat the protein, but I took the sugar out, you're benefiting. If I put the protein, left the protein in, and allowed you to supplement, you're benefiting. If the protein's in there and I take out some of the other fake sugars that you might be getting into, or that midnight cookie run that you're after, all of a sudden you're stopping some of the bad habits that over the next 3 months that you keep doing will get you in trouble. And so again, the detox opens up the door of awareness. And I want you to become more aware of what you can do to feel well, to live well, to allow your body to perform at its best day in and day out. And the detox is absolutely positively the easiest, impactful thing to do to get the system to do what it's supposed to.
That's awesome.
It's a great, wonderful follow-up question. So thank you, Andrea. Excellent. And let's see. There's quite a few things that popped over, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you about the detox. Is there anything specific that I know in the past you've done things where I'm not going to eat meat the whole time, or it's my this number detox, or is there anything special you're doing?
Well, it's just a continuation for me. I think this year, it's a reset for sure. I did do a 10-day detox in November. In my 10-day, I allowed protein. No, it's not true. In this particular one, it was 100% vegetables for 10 days. The first day I did 6 ounces of vegetables, like 6 times a day. Then that wasn't enough. Then I bumped it to 8. That wasn't enough. Even with the extra shakes that I was taking, it was like 10 ounces of vegetables 6 times a day that gave me the sustenance to do what I wanted to do in the gym and to maintain, and I felt great. I loved it. I mean, I do feel, and people do feel better whenever they're not putting in processed food. It is just hands down amazing. This detox here, I will definitely 10 days, 10 ounces of vegetables. I'll probably just jump in at that level because my output day in and day out is pretty much the same. I mean, I train fairly the same every day, and I burn that level of calories every day. So I've already worked out a lot of those little working details of how my body performs over the last few years, with exercise being a key component to my calorie intake. And so this will be 40. I think it's 43 my 43rd detox. So, on down the line we go. This is and I always use the analogy that, because I can just see this. I remember as a kid, I'd be at the edge of a bank, and there was about a 15-foot, maybe it was only a 10-foot drop down into the water of this creek bed, and it was always full, and I'd throw pebbles in there, and then sometimes I'd find bigger things to throw in there, but I would observe the ripple effect that it had in the water, because the water was always still. And I was always just kind of amazed that, the bigger the thing, the bigger the splash, the bigger the ripple effect. And so the ultimate detox program's like throwing a cinder block in there, boom, and the ripple effect is mammoth and wide and long. The diameter stretches across the whole, bank to bank, and you just go, that's cool. Well, when you make that kind of health impact into your body, when you come out of the detox, your mindset is changed. Your a willingness to put yourself into those states of being, those states of mind where you're going to stick this thing out, you're going to follow through, even if you travel. I mean, I've had guys that traveled overseas that were able to detox and stay on the program, and they did. They probably ate a little less on there, but any restaurant I've ever been able to go to, I just ask them, can I have any and all vegetables that y'all have in the facility, stir fried in some olive oil or butter, and, cook that up, grill that up, bake that up, something, make it pretty, throw it on a plate. I've had people go, I want what he's having. Well, that's not really on the menu. He just got like a hodgepodge of veggies. And they go, oh, well, I didn't know you could do that. Well, we don't recommend it because it's another step. It messes up some of the flow in the kitchen. But people will accommodate. I mean, these are chefs. They're professional. They know how to make stuff. So it's not hard for them oftentimes to make a specialty item. I remember my first days of detox, I was able to go to Olive Garden, and get soups and salads and stay relatively on the program, right? And again, they use bad oils, sure, who doesn't? And so I've at this point at 43, I really strive to just eat my own food and really stay focused on trying to be processed food, bad oils out of the system as much as possible, giving my body that stimulant-free living for the 21 days. So again, detoxification is just a fun, wonderful experience that we're hoping people indulge in and go through with us. And we'll be driving into detox 2023. So make sure that you stay tuned in and make sure that you see, any of the tags that we have. But we've got some, like I said, updates on some of the classes that we have in our slides here. I believe it's the 7th as the first class, and I can't find it.
I'm imagining someone who has their birthday right smack dab in the middle of of January, and it's like, we got to detox, and then celebrate at the end or before, or modify, in a way that's sustainable, I suppose.
Well, and again, when are you not going to have an event? Like, there's always a reason not to.
There's something,
right?
Yes.
And so you don't have to do the group detox with us. We just want people detoxing in January and February. So we will take people. I mean, go do your weekend cruise. Do your week-long vacation. When you get home, make sure that we're the next phone call. Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, 281-554-8600. And because we know that we can be a resource, we are a resource. We just want to be your number one resource when it comes to all your health and wellness needs. And so we're excited about just in finding that spot where we can fit healthy living and healthy actions into a good, healthy, longevity plan. And if you're not detoxing in the 21st century, you're just missing a huge piece of your healthcare plan. So this is a great, easy, wonderful way to take health forward by leaps and bounds. And when you're driving in Detox 2023 with Living Well, you will love your new vehicle on the other side. It's great stuff. Yeah. So God bless you guys. Merry Christmas. And I hope everybody has a spectacular, wonderful, delightful Christmas. And we will see you guys next time.